Hey, hello, and welcome to this tutorial on MidiShortcut. A while ago we did a huge overhaul of the whole application with a lot of new features, and today I'm gonna talk you through some of these. So, whenever you open the app for the first time, you'll see a blank canvas. And here in the top we can select our MIDI device. I got a Launch Control XL connected at this moment, so that's what I'm gonna select. Whenever I have something selected, I can add new items. There are three ways to add a new item. We can either do File, Edit, New Item. We can use the plus sign here, or we can use the Command Shift N. So this gives us a new MIDI shortcut item. So the first thing we want to do is choose whether we want to have the shortcut react to a note or a fader, so a control value. In this case we're going to do a note on, note off, so that's going to give us like the same behavior as a keystroke on the keyboard. Then we click learn, and as soon as learn gets blue we can push a button on the device itself. So you see here that we now have assigned channel 9 note 92 to this instruction. So the next thing we want to do is bound a keystroke to that. So say for instance I'm gonna learn Command C, so that's gonna be copy, and we can add a delay to that. And delays can be very handy because you can assign multiple keystrokes to the same MIDI note, so then you can add them in sequence. We don't want to have a MIDI out. If we do this, we can send the value back to the MIDI console, so that's the way we'll be able to have the LEDs on the device light up. And I would suggest to read the manual of the device you're using to see which codes are available for lights. And here we can add a description, so it's going to be copy. So that's the first thing we have assigned. We're going to enable it and it shows up in white. Let's add another one and let's make it paste. Let's enable it, on, off, learn. There you go. It's going to be number 60. Command V, no delay, no MIDI out, paste. So now we have a basic setup where we're able to copy and paste with our MIDI console. So let's check. This is a text. And then I'm gonna press the copy. And in the left hand corner, upper hand corner, you see it says copy, and the other button pastes. So whenever I press this button, it's always going to be paste. The position of this hint you see is managed here, so you can either have it in the top left corner or the top right corner or not on. The next thing I want to show you is a fader. So we're going to add a new item, and this time we're not going to do a note, but we're going to set a control value. And we're going to learn again, and this time I'm going to do a fader. So channel 9, fader 77. Now we have some other options on how we want to map our value. So we can set it to every change. So a MIDI fader consists of like 127 different values, states. So any change would give us 127 strokes, keystrokes, whenever we move it. We can set it at a specific value. We can set it below a value, above, or when it's in a range. This time I want to set it above a value, and I'm gonna set that to 120. So whenever let's set it to 60. So whenever the fader gets above that value, it's gonna send the keystroke, and then it's gonna wait until it drops under it again, and then it's gonna fire again only when it gets over it again. So in this case, I'm gonna say I wanna write a cue, and we don't have a delay, and write a cue. All right, let's see what that does in real time. So here's my fader. I'm moving it up and down and up and down. So whenever it goes through the 120 mark or the 60 mark, it's gonna fire that note. All changes, let's show that. So in this case, it's gonna send a cue whenever the value of the fader has been changed, but it has a retrigger delay on it. So whenever it fires, it's not gonna fire for another 300 milliseconds. So to show you what that looks like, moving the fader now, and while I'm moving the fader, it's not gonna send another stroke, but now I'm gonna wait, and now it has reset itself. So with this retrigger milliseconds, you can set how long the application has to wait for like no change to flag it to send another note. So now I've set it to 0. So this should us, yeah, that's gonna give us a lot of cues. So every change you see here is a letter. Okay, so that's it for there. You can also set it to a range. So whenever it's above this value and below that value, or an exact value. Some other functions we have is to copy, paste, duplicate, all the stuff. One of the great new functions of this version is that you now can save and export and open and import mappings. So you can share it on different systems and with different people. And one of the great things is to reset all the MIDI output. So if you have set the MIDI output to any value, it's gonna set everything to the default value. Okay, so I think that's it for the new MIDI shortcut for now. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, drop it in the comments. If you like it, please share it. Thank you so much.